She spent almost 20 years building a life with a man the whole country thought they knew, and not once did she tell anyone what that life actually cost her. Brandi Passante was one half of the most popular couple on Storage Wars, the woman millions watched rifle through dusty lockers and roll her eyes at Jarrod Schulz every Tuesday night for over a decade. But at 45, with 2 grown kids, a new show, and a tattoo on her arm that says free, the full picture of what she was living through is finally coming into focus. By the time this is over, you'll understand why the breakup was never really about the breakup. Brandi Passante was in her late teens when she crossed paths with Jarrod Schulz at the job where he worked. She has said since that he wore her down, that he was persistent. That detail matters because persistence would become a theme in ways she didn't anticipate. By the early 2000s, the two were building something together, a relationship, a family, and a small thrift store in Orange, California called Now and Then. They weren't married, they never legally would be, but they were partners in every other sense. 2 kids, a shared business, a shared lease on what looked from the outside like a pretty solid life. That store is what got them on television. A&E came calling. Storage Wars launched in 2010, and overnight Brandi and Jarrod went from thrift shop owners to cable personalities with a national following. And here's what that fame revealed almost immediately. They argued constantly on camera. Brandi carried most of the weight, and somehow that dynamic was played for laughs. But here's the part that changes everything about what you just heard. Brandi has said publicly that she felt she did most of the parenting on her own. That wasn't a throwaway comment made in a breakup interview. It was the through line of nearly 2 decades. 2 children with serious medical needs. Daughter Peyton was born deaf, had her first surgery at 6 weeks old, required years of speech therapy, and was also born with a cleft palate. Son Cameron was diagnosed with a kidney mass that required surgery and 3 months of hospitalization at the Children's Hospital of Orange County. 3 months Cameron also missed from high school. Brandi was there for all of it. She also said she managed most of it alone, with the presence of what she described as a scary dad voice in the background. She wasn't asked for detail, she offered that framing herself. Meanwhile, the show kept running. A spin-off launched in 2014, Brandi and Jarrod, married to the job, and then quietly ended after 1 season. In 2018, Brandi ended the relationship. No announcement, no statement, she just stopped. The show kept filming like nothing had changed, and the world didn't find out until the season 13 premiere in April 2021, 3 years after it was already over. And that's when the decision was made, the one nobody around her saw coming. In April 2021, Brandi was at a bar in Orange County with a group of friends. Jarrod Schulz appeared. She told him to leave. He didn't. According to police, he raised his voice and pushed her, twice. Schulz was charged by the Orange County District Attorney's Office with 1 count of misdemeanor domestic violence battery. He denied ever making physical contact with her and pleaded not guilty. No arrest was made that night because he had left the scene before police arrived. Brandi did not name him publicly in response. What she did instead was post a photo of a new tattoo, the word free, with a small bird extending from the last letter. Her caption explained that some fans might assume it was a Lynyrd Skynyrd reference. She's a fan of the band, but that wasn't it. She wrote that the tattoo meant she had somehow, by grace, managed to escape a very difficult situation that so many people fall victim to, that she would be eternally grateful for the life and freedom, without fear, that she now gets to live. She never named the situation. She didn't have to. Most people who know this story stop here, but the real story starts right now. Brandi has Hashimoto's disease, an autoimmune condition that attacks the thyroid. She confirmed it herself when fans asked why her voice sounded raspy. Hashimoto's can cause fatigue, brain fog, weight changes, and mood disruption. It's the kind of condition that is worsened by chronic stress, and it doesn't resolve quickly. She was managing it while filming a national television show, raising 2 children through serious health crises, navigating a fractured co-parenting dynamic, and keeping the appearance of professional civility with an ex she described as tense to be around. By 2021, she also noted in an interview that she had spent the years since the split trying to figure out who she was. Her words were, "I wasn't really allowed to have an identity for many, many years." That is not bitterness. That is a woman describing what it actually felt like to be inside a relationship that looked fine from the outside. She returned for Storage Wars Season 15 in 2023 and Season 16 in 2025. Jarrod did not return for either. And if you think that was surprising, stay with me. because this next part is why the whole story matters. When on a Fais Anawarm, she launched a podcast called The Real Reality with Brandi Passante, premiering August 12, 2025. Weekly episodes, different guests each time. The format is a direct interview. Reality stars, actors, musicians, people who have lived inside some version of public scrutiny, and Brandi is the host. The show's premise is exactly what the title suggests, what fame actually does to a person, not what the edited version looks like. Her first guests included Broadway performers, former child Disney stars, and contestants from shows like American Idol. The through line of every conversation is the question she spent 20 years not being able to ask out loud: what was it really like? She has full custody of both her children, she has a new relationship, and she has an autoimmune condition that requires ongoing management, a decade plus of public exposure behind her, and a clearer sense of who she is at 45 than at any point when she was being watched by millions. The podcast is not a redemption arc. It's just what happens when a person finally gets to set the terms. It was about a woman who built a public career while managing a private life that few people fully understood. Medical emergencies with her kids, the quiet dissolution of a relationship that looked intact on screen, and the long road back to something that felt like hers. She didn't announce it. She didn't write a book. She got a tattoo that said free and kept moving. The podcast is still new. Season 16 of Storage Wars has aired. And Brandi Passante, at 45, is in the middle of the most interesting chapter she's had yet. One where she's not the subject of the interview, but the person running it. Do you think Brandi stayed on Storage Wars too long after the relationship ended? Or was she right to hold her ground and keep showing up?